working on a collector's edition 1996 Chevrolet Corvette. The current issues are leaking lines, so we have to figure out exactly what lines are leaking. And had another, we probably want to take the motor out as well. But right now we're just doing an initial figure out exactly what all we're doing. Good times, good times. He's getting the codes for the car right now. So the Corvette definitely has a transmission leak. It is leaking. It looks like it's leaking somewhere around here. So yep, right there is definitely a leak. It could be as simple as a seal, or it just needs to be changed. But it definitely has a leak. As you can see, leak. Leak, leak, leak. Yes, sir. It was transmission fluid. It looks like it's. I can't really tell. Hold on, don't let that bitch down there. I can see where it's coming from.
Got to run in these views. I know that. But I know you find. We need to address the leaks and stuff too.
I can see where it's coming from.
Okay. Well, it's got a leak up front there on the motor somewhere too. Okay. But since it cut off, you want to let it down, cut the key off. That's actually what we're about to do now. And then we'll address. You see where it's going. Hey, just remember, if you raise it up and the hood up, it's going to hit that. Oh, yeah, I know. That's why.
Woo!
All right, so when you raise it back up again, lower the hood down so you can go all the way up. Okay. Y'all shake it to make sure it's stable.
I did.
And just understand the way it's sitting on the rack. You got the weight of the motor up front here.
Yeah.
So when you go up,
it's even more.
It's gonna make. You might want to put a screw jack under the front of it.
Like that.
Just once you get it up and get it set.
Because I actually did notice that when I started to lift it up, I seen the back.
Yeah, Ricky had kind of mentioned that, and it didn't dawn on me. But as he was
really
lifting
like
it,
the way you got it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's actually the way that we put it on the rack when me and the class and Mr. Ward got it over here.
Well, I don't like it. I would prefer it to be back a little bit and these arms a little bit further up. But anyway. And that's not the place to jack it up no way. Yeah, you need to clean all that out from under there and let it down. Let me help y'all reset it. Okay. Because that's not very stable right there.
not stable. All right. So right now I am getting information from the powertrain control module and the 4 ECUs or electronic control units within that system. I'm finding out which wires are grounded, which sections of the system are getting power, and how much voltage is going through the lines, and then what is not getting voltage and nothing is going through the lines. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going through each and every section. Each section has 32 slots. Now, not all the slots are full. Right now I'm working on C1 grid engine control module. All I'm doing is just going through, checking out each thing, because basically what this list tells me is whatever's not working, it corresponds with something within the vehicle. So if one of the lines is not working, that may be why your car is misfiring. That may be why it's not running. That may be why this and that. So I have to go through the computer. So this is what I'm doing right now, just going through the brain of the car and figuring out what's what. And it's very meticulous. It is time consuming. So you really have to care about what you're doing when you're doing stuff like this. But all I'm doing is probing each section. Right now I'm on line number 6, and each line it should be color coded. This line that I'm working on is red and black. I was looking for a lot of stuff. I knew I'd taken it off of the car before I lifted it up to get my pin, but I could not get it find it. Now I gotta plug it back into the power source. Which right now is plugged into the battery. And the battery is plugged into a charger. Or not really a charger, but a maintain system to like keep the voltage at a constant while I'm using the power energy from the battery. Fun times, fun times. Now, I don't know when my line got this tangled up, but I try to keep my work area clean and debris free and organized. And I try to develop a routine. Because if I develop a routine, then I'll be least likely to mess up people's cars. Why? Oh. My connection was loose. Okay. Line wire 6, red and black, and green. And so all I'm doing is taking my connectors, realigning. What I was just doing was making sure that I had my stuff lined up correctly and I was reading the right slot. And so now that I know I was reading the right slot, it's good. Verify again. And then I'm just going to write down the number. Now, one thing I'm learning is when everybody works on vehicles, everybody has their own way of doing things. I'm a kind of like a meticulous person, like a 1, 2, 3, ABC type of person. So I know that I'm going to want to write things and have things like, you know, like, I can't really think of the word right now, but like lined up, you know what I'm saying? To where I can go to where I need to organize. It wasn't the exact word, but we used to say organize. I like to have my stuff organized. Okay. 11, So this line is flashing green, which means that it's supposed to be a grounded wire. Now most of the greens that I've been coming across is just green and it's 0, 0. It says ground. But every now and again I've come across a green or a ground wire that also has some sort of voltage. So I'm still learning, I'm still a student. What I do is I write down that it did flash as ground, but it also has voltage, so that my professor will know exactly what's going on after I explain him. He'll be able to read my key and understand my work. And also, a lot of times, it's not always, but sometimes when I did, if it had ground as well as the voltage going through, it would fluctuate. So I also make sure that my professor knows that the line fluctuates. As in, sometimes it was reading, or sometimes it wasn't. If it was reading, it was going between voltage, like something was, you know, adding, taking away, adding, taking away, adding, taking away. When it comes to working on vehicles, you got to develop a routine and stick to it. You mainly need to love what you're doing, otherwise you're going to get frustrated. That's it for now. Pretty much, I'm just going to be doing this over and over. I've already done 2 boxes. And it's pretty much what you just saw. I'm just going to be doing it over and over. So y'all get bored. I'll have a job when I get back and start doing something else. So I just finished getting the readings, finishing reading my 4 ECU on the PCM. And for the most part, I believe everything is fine. We did have one wire that was missing. One wire that wasn't color coded correctly. For the most part, everything was reading. Nothing was really, the lines weren't really frayed or anything. So, once I give this to my professor, he'll go over everything, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. Because right now, the problem is the vehicle is not running right. It's running like it got bad gas in it or something. Try to be right about customers. Oh, my hand! Okay. So we just did a pressurized test on the radiator to find out if it has any leaks using this bad boy, which is a master cooling system pressure test kit. So, pressure holding fine. So what we're doing now is a smoke test. So they're finna hook into the brake booster line and put smoke into the system so we can see if we can find a leak that way. Fun times.
It's just coming from this, you think?
There's something on the hair stand. Yep.
Yeah, but now trying to figure out exactly where.
Somewhere in here.
Oh yeah. Right up in there. Right up in there. So we have a leak. Fix time.
Smoke test here to see if we got a leak. We got a leak. See.
Who the hell?
Alright, smoke that motherfucker again.
I went over here and need to start none of that. What I'm doing?
Pick up that
Smoke.
thing.
Huh?
There. Pick up the thing right there.
Right here.
Push the goddamn button.
I'm pushing the button.
Okay, so we got smoke coming out of there, but nowhere else down here. Oh,
Oh, it's coming from our other thing. Oh yeah, it's coming out of that, whatever this is.
It's coming out of there because look,
Yeah.
it says ribs.
That's where it's coming from.
But I mean, also the smoke is supposed to come. Okay, so that's fine. So then it's just because it needs a new one of these.
Yes.
So, light. Y'all see that? Simple fix. Simple fix. All right.
Okay. Well, that could be causing it not running. Because that's between, we measure the airflow sensor and intake. I always remember that on these old vehicles like this. It's got a mass airflow sensor in the air tube. If it has a leak between the flow sensor and the throttle body, it'll cause it to run late. Stall, quit, do a whole lot of stuff. The only thing you can do is duct tape or something to try to tape it enough to get it to not leak, just to see if that makes any difference in the way it runs. I have to look. I did have it. We're going to have to replace it.
Right. I know.
I'm kind of like, I'm on his, you know, I'd like to tape it up so you
Yeah,
can change
see.
the hours. Exactly what it is. Let me see if I can find my duct tape. I had some.
I mean, seems like you wanted a cookie or some shit. Okay, world. Back to you. So what we have learned so far on this 1996 Chevrolet Corvette, after we just did the smoke test, is that there's a vacuum line that had been severed as well. So air wasn't circulating. So we do, and we also have to replace the air intake hose that y'all saw earlier that was broken. So that does affect how the car runs. So we definitely got to fix that. We got some other issues to deal with too, but slowly and surely.